What is going on, guys? In this video, we're going to go over exactly how I am streaming any social engagement that I'm getting into my CRM and creating two custom objects to link them together. These custom objects are any social post that I do, and then the second object is any person that reacts with that post gets added there automatically, which means I can just prospect out of my CRM at a speed that's never been done before, which is awesome. And it also means I can run agents over the top of this data, should I wish. So let's dive in and have a look at how I'm doing this. To get started with, we're using three tools. These tools being Triggerfy, yours truly, which is going to help us track anything related to social media. The second is Attio, and that's the CRM that I'm using and one that I truly think is the best in the market right now and the one that we use generally. And the third one is N8N to power the workflow behind linking all of these systems together. So let's have a look at it. So as you can see with Attio, they're very, very good for objects and creating custom objects. So, companies, people, but in this case, they have two custom objects, these objects being LinkedIn engagement. So that is anyone who has liked and commented on my post, and then LinkedIn posts. And that's what we're on now. And this is basically just any post that I've done, essentially. So you can then actually start to see, which is quite cool, all of the posts that I'm doing. And you can actually then start to see all of the LinkedIn engagement that I'm getting from this. So if I go over to the LinkedIn engagement, here are all the people that are engaging with those posts, and I can track them back to the specific post, which means I could reach out to them based on the post that they're doing, or just have that stored in my CRM should I wish to do that. But what's really, really exciting about this is you also, because we're actually storing this information, we can then start to understand, has this person, what is the customer life cycle? Have they gone on to book a demo? Have they gone on to speak to sales? What has happened? And that basically means we can create what's called revenue attribution all the way down to the super, super minute granularity detail here, which is, okay, hey, Joe Blogs liked X post 3 months ago. Then they signed up to a newsletter. Then they booked a demo. So in olden times, most of the marketing would attribute that as maybe newsletter or something else. They could say social, but they wouldn't know where. Now we can actually get down to that granular level, which is epic. So how are we doing this? Well, first of all, I went and created two new objects inside of Attio. Super simple, just create the objects. Then what you need to think about is creating the attributes themselves. So in this case, I added LinkedIn post URL, likes, comments, posted at, and then I created a relationship attribute. So this is basically saying it's going to be a one-to-many. And what that basically means is if we look at the engagements here, you can see that there are multiple people engaging with this content, okay? And this is one field or one post to many different other kind of attributes. And that's effectively what we've done there, which basically means we've joined these engagers to this particular post, which is really cool. So then when you go look at the LinkedIn engagement, we can then map it back in the opposite direction as well, should we wish to do that. The other cool thing that we've done here is you can also see the comments that they have coming in as well. So very handy to run workflows around this or whatever. And just to have this stored in, you can start tracking exactly what these people are doing, how they're working, so on and so on. So how did we get data into here in the first place? Well, we started with Triggerfy. Quite simply, we came over to Triggerfy and basically we entered in the company and personal URL of myself, so that's here. And then what we started to do is we started to send this data through via a webhook into Attio through using N8N. Now, there's a few kind of key things that we need to think about with this is, first of all, we needed to go ahead and create the LinkedIn post because that's like stems is the initial kind of root part of this flow or this data point. And then we attach the engagement onto that. And so Triggerfy basically sends through the engagement like one by one. So if we look at the people associated that are engaging with my content, every time someone new likes my content, it's then going to send this through via a webhook through to here one by one. So what that means, if like, let's say like Joseph here, it's going to send through the post that they engaged with, which is this post, and obviously all the details along with that. And then it's going to send, Mike Ball again, for example, it's going to send that through to here, but it will send the post information. So I don't want to create a new post every time. So what I did to stop that from happening is I basically made the post URL a unique attribute, so it can't duplicate it. And in fact, it will error if it tries to duplicate it. And so what we do here is, first step of this process is we take the data in, which triggers the workflow. We're then checking inside of Attio if this post URL that's getting sent from this web hook is inside of Attio. If there is no data that gets returned, it means that it's not inside of Attio, which means it goes this way, where we then create the social post, which is creating this part. And then we then basically go on to add the engagement, which we would have got from the original webhook as well. If the social post is already in, because we obviously would have had 10 people, or more, 30, 40, 50, how many people like or comment on my post, it then goes down this route because it would return back, okay, hey, yeah, there is a post, and it would then add them into here. But the same thing that we've done over here is, if I go back to my objects, look at engagement, and then do that, I've made that unique as well. So that means if someone is liking multiple posts across different posts, it won't create them every time. So it's going to create them once and the only time, which is why if we look at the execution logs, it occasionally errors, which basically says, okay, hey, someone's already liked this stuff. It is just kind of repeating that process as well, which is really, really cool. And that is how we're then basically getting all of the social activity streaming in. What's really cool, because of the way that Attio works, is I'm not convoluting it with sales data, which is like within companies and people. These are separate objects, which means I could create I could join it in some shape or form, or I can keep them separate and effectively almost have like two CRMs inside of one CRM, which is amazing. So that is the whole process, start to finish, of how I'm basically creating this connection between social data, revenue attribution, because I can boil it down to see the lead stage of these people, and start creating this kind of report between Attio Triggerify and N8N. Very cool.